What's going on, guys? Hey, we are back. We have an ambush on the Omega team, the Gur Omega team here. This is TVP World. We love TVP World. They do some of the best actual in-depth investigations and kind of more independent style journalism than a lot of other sources, and they don't hold back the facts. And we really like these guys. So TVP World up here, but the title says Ukrainian Omega unit survives deadly ambush, military mine. So we're gonna watch this. Hey, before we jump into it, please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe, man. We're on our way to 50,000 subs. There's a lot going on in this world right now, and people need to know about what's happening here in Ukraine. Primarily, we do multiple different kinds of content on this channel, obviously, as you guys know, but Ukraine's number one priority, and it has been. And there was a Rezhnik missile launch, which is a nuclear capable hypersonic ballistic missile launched into the heart of the capital of Kyiv, which has millions of residents in it, civilians. That launch happened 2 days ago. It was very, very under the radar. No news outlets are talking about it. That you got the major shit media like Fox and CNN, MSNBC, ABC, all the garbage. None of them are mentioning it. It sucks, man. So the more people we can get to see this kind of content, the better. Please like, share, subscribe. And lastly, we're doing our fundraiser for John and Patrick's drone unit. We're almost there. We're going to be finishing it at the end of this week. So let's make a final push for their 3700 so that they can get up and active. And I'll send you guys photos of the equipment they get once we end the fundraiser.
Hello everyone from Different Breed. My name is John from Sweden. This is Patrick from Norway. We've been in Ukraine for 4 years now. We are transitioning into drones and we're taking drone classes right now, and we need your help. We are launching a fundraiser for controllers, ground station cables, antennas, and goggles. We're very thankful for all you guys' help up until this point. It means a lot to us, and a lot of the work we've been doing down here wouldn't be possible without you guys' help. So we truly appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
All right, guys, let's watch Omega Team here. If you're not familiar with Omega Team, they're one of the most elite special operating units in the security services of Ukraine.
But increasingly about... Hello, I'm Jonasz Rawiński, and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Today, we're focusing on several important Ukrainian military achievements in the war, including long-range strikes deep inside Russia, changing dynamics on the battlefield, and growing Ukrainian operational activity along the front. According to Reuters, oil refineries in Moscow and Ryazan have suspended operations following recent Ukrainian drone strikes. The Moscow oil refinery, located in the southeast of the Russian capital, plays a major role in supplying
unhindered, uncontested. Look at this drone flying through Moscow airspace, dude. The Russians are cooked, bro.
Fuel to the region. Industry sources told Reuters that the strike reportedly did not cause major structural damage, but operations were halted for safety reasons to avoid further risks. Sources say it could take several days for oil processing to resume. The refinery is one of the 10 largest in Russia and supplies around 40% of the Moscow region's fuel demand. Its annual processing capacity exceeds 11 million tons of oil. Now, the facility was struck by Ukrainian drones on the 17th of May. Reuters also reports that the Ryazan oil refinery suspended operations after a Ukrainian drone strike on the 15th of May. The refinery belongs to Rosneft and is one of the largest oil processing facilities in Russia, with an annual capacity of around 17 million tons. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials say the balance of activity on the front line is also beginning to shift. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Alexander Syrsky, said that the number of offensive actions currently carried out by Ukrainian forces now exceeds the offensive activity of Russian troops in some sectors. According to Syrsky, this activity of
As an RCXD from Call of Duty.
Russian troops in some sectors. According to Syrsky, this is the result of systematic strikes against Russian personnel and continued efforts to reduce Russia's offensive potential. He said the constant destruction of Russian manpower is directly
Holy moly, dude, it took that whole building down.
affecting Moscow's ability to sustain the intensity of assault operations. The Ukrainian commander stressed that this is no longer only about containing attacks, but increasingly about changing the overall dynamics of combat in certain parts of the front line. According to his assessment, Ukrainian units are becoming more active in imposing their own tempo of operations, increasingly forcing Russian troops to react to Ukrainian actions rather than dictating the pace themselves. Analysts say this reflects a broader tactical trend in which Ukrainian forces are more frequently regaining the initiative at the local level after many months of largely defensive fighting. The Pakrovsk sector, near the village of Rodynskie. This section of the front line remains the site of intense fighting. Archival footage from 2025 has now surfaced online, capturing one of the dramatic episodes involving a special operations team from the Omega West Special Operations Center. The mission, which was planned as a quick raid, instantly turned into a fierce close-quarters battle due to the elevated threat from mines. While moving through a populated area, an armored vehicle carrying the group known as Tigers, members of the Omega unit, struck a camouflaged anti-tank mine. The explosion damaged the vehicle's undercarriage and brought it to a grinding halt, leaving the Special Forces troops stranded. Since the vehicle was in the direct line of fire, the commander made the only correct decision: to abandon the vehicle immediately. Now, despite the sudden change in the tactical situation and the loss of the armored vehicle, the Special Forces of Omega West accomplished their primary mission. They protected their personnel.
Надо забрать по-любому оттуда хотя бы пару рюкзаков. Снести сюда, пока я в пивине нас 86 метров. Держи.
That's a leadership call right there. Going in and grabbing some of their bags and probably water and stuff, food, before an FPV blows up. Blows up their rig. That's straight up experience right there. That is I'll share a story with you guys about a similar position I was in here in a minute.
Прикрывай, прикрывай! Ползи сюда! Ползи сюда! Да тихо, тихо! Куда попасть?
Живота тече.
Тяжелый, скажи тяжелый, 300! Я тебе сейчас буду засовывать в рану бинт. Прополоскать рот, дай ему! Тихо, 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 не крутись! На твоей свадьбе погуляем. Разведем, еще раз погуляем. Так я выдержал, мне его надо забандажировать. Ты говори, пожалуйста, со мной, старик. Говори, пожалуйста, дружище. Так ты, Юра, приподними его вот здесь вот в тазе.
Раз, два, три. Оп.
Давай. Едьте, бродяги на связь. Мы в контакте, мы сейчас в контакте. Завязались в бою. Гранату кидай.
Так, акуратно, дивись по вікнах там. Давай.
Dude, that is such a sick photo. This dude. So this is the ride that they that hit the anti-tank mine, blew up, and is incapable of moving now. This is casualty evacuation, I'm assuming, for this guy here who was wounded. I couldn't tell if he was wounded from jumping in and out of that window from the glass, or if he was hit by something when he went to grab the packs. But this is sick, dude. These guys mean all business. Got him.
Ground-based robotic systems.
That was cool, dude. All right, I'll share my story with you guys real quick. I've shared this story in the past. We were exfilling from a mission, and we're in an MRAP just like that with a cage. And oh no, I'm sorry, we were in an M113 armored personnel carrier. So it's we weren't in an MRAP that time. Anyways, we're moving in the M113, and I don't know if we hit something or something hit us like an FPV, but our driver notified us that he can no longer turn. We can only drive straight. And we're in a village just like this trying to exfil. And we get to a point where there's a split in the road where we have to go right or left. We can no longer go straight, and this thing can't turn. So the team leader make the call, hey, everybody exfil. And there was a house next to us with a basement. So we all hopped down into the basement, and FPV came in and destroyed what was left of our M113. So we got into this basement where there was a mama dog, and she had some puppies down there. They were clearly hiding from the war. So we shared the basement for a while. It was hard to get comms established because the area we were in was a contested village. So there were jammers up. We were underground still. And a lot of our communications equipment was in the M113 that had just gotten blown up. So we were kind of stuck down there for the time being. Most of us were prepping to stay the night. Like I said, the majority of us that were in that M113 had just got off, like it was like a 4-day mission. So we were kind of like, I mean, we were burnt. It was only a 4-day mission, but it was an assault mission. So it was a lot of moving. It was aggressive. So we were burnt out, man. And so we were basically like, all right, we'll stay another night. Screw it, right? Start like getting your socks off because they were wet. Start drying them off and stuff. And we start hearing honking out front. And turns out Lubart Brigade, which is now underneath the 1st Azov Corps, Lubart Brigade heard our distress calls over the radio and realized they were in our AO and saw our blown up vehicle. So they were coming. They were also exfilling back to get out of the hot zone and back to base. So they saw our vehicle pulled up and just started honking, knowing we were nearby. So we realize it's them, and we're like, "Oh, let's go!" So we get all kitted back up, and we jump into this MRAP. And a huge shout out to Lubart Brigade for this. MRAPs are typically made for like 7 people. We had like 15 to 16 people in this MRAP, so it was packed, dude. But we got out of there, no casualties, everything was okay. Pretty cool, but this kind of thing happens a lot. Again, shout out to Lubart, man.
Definitively become a common and widespread tool for conducting combat operations on the front lines. A unique footage from an external camera has appeared online, capturing a new level of interaction between unmanned platforms. A Ukrainian ground drone successfully evacuated another similar unmanned vehicle that had been damaged during a mission. Evacuating a drone with another drone without involving personnel is a clear demonstration of how Ukrainian defense forces minimize risks to the lives of servicemen in high-risk areas. Ultimately, it's a bit like the military equivalent of sending a Waymo to give your Tesla bot or Unitree G1 a lift and not getting stuck in traffic along the way. The heavy presence of artillery and drones on the front lines has changed not only combat tactics, but also the behavior of animals caught in the war zone. Wildlife on the front lines has undergone the same harsh school of adaptation as humans did. This time we've got the story of Ukrainian trench cats who demonstrate a clear understanding of the situation. They're not simply frightened by loud noises, but like experienced soldiers, can distinguish between different types of explosions and know exactly when to take cover. War has blurred the line between human experience and animal instinct when it comes to safety. The behavior of trench cats is a direct result of prolonged exposure to a high-risk environment, where the ability to distinguish subtle differences in the sounds of incoming shells became essential for the survival of all living
I've seen
things.
this. This is cool. They're playing.
And with this we conclude
It's pretty cool, man, because it even takes like military human personnel a little while to distinguish incoming and outgoing artillery or mortar fire, if it's going to be close, if it's passing overhead, stuff like that, how much time you have in between launch, and because here you can clearly hear when it launches right there. And so do these cats right away, like in the middle of playing. This guy's like, nope, 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 nope. We go. That's cool, dude. I love to see that. It's kind of funny, but cats play a pretty pivotal role sometimes, in especially early on, like earlier on in the full scale invasions when there was a lot more trench holding and drones were less prevalent, because mice and rats would eat through soldiers' bags and kits that they would have in trenches while they're there for X amount of days, and these mice and rats would eat through them, get to their ration packs, their MREs, stuff like that. So a lot of units started either bringing cats with them on operation or collecting some to help in their positions here, because cats look for safety, as we just saw here, and so oftentimes they'll end up in similar trenches that the soldiers are in, and then they get to eat these mice and rats that are eating the soldier stuff. The soldiers have protection now from the mice and rats. It works, it's mutually beneficial. But super cool video, man. Check out TVP World. We have watched a lot of Omega stuff, man, and this is a good example to show that even the best of the best units end up in shitty situations sometimes. And they got ambushed, they took a casualty, and were still able to kind of flip that and get the casualty out in a really, there's obviously cuts in the footage, so we couldn't tell exactly how long that casualty had to wait for exfil. But the fact that their infill vehicle was not completely on fire tells me that it was probably within an hour, 2 hours maybe, because the Russians will start to zero in. The second they see an armored vehicle that's abandoned, they'll start to zero in and make sure everything in it and is destroyed and that the whole vehicle is non-usable, right? So they had to have gotten them out pretty quick. So that's a shout out to Omega's professionalism and training. Very cool. Anyways, you guys, hey, also do me a favor, go check out our new series. It's called TCCC Adapted. It's a series I put together, combat medicine guidelines, off the basis of the standard TCCC foundation that has been in place for the last 30 years, but they don't implement things like drones and extended evacuation times and stuff like that. This series that I made kind of fills some of those gaps. So go check that out. It's in the playlists on my channel. Anyways, you guys, I love you, and we'll see you in the next video.